What's up, everybody? Robert the Monster Among Marks Drapp here. I know that the thumbnail still says that this is Rob's Random ROMs from last week because I didn't get a chance to fix it because, to be honest, I didn't honestly think that I would be doing an episode today because of the way that the renovations next door have been going. And with that being said, I was just gonna let you guys know kind of what's going on. They're renovating the apartment next door, so it's not really like I could produce a full episode, or at least I thought so. And then they just suddenly stopped. So I figured, you know what? The monster among Marks waits for no man, and he just jumps in, and he's gonna give you the episode that was promised on, I believe it was Monday. I was going to do it on Sunday, but you know what? Let's do it today. It's the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all Americans. I am a very proud American myself, as, you know, Texans can be. But today's episode is going to be dealing with NXT Callups. What the problem in the past, and I'm going to frame it like that for a reason, has been that Vince McMahon has no idea how to use the talent that comes from NXT because he doesn't watch NXT. He doesn't know who these people are. He just knows that in NXT, these people were very popular. He hears their name generating buzz in the online wrestling community. It comes up through the grapevine, and people talk about how good these wrestlers are, and then Vince is like, well, if they're down in developmental, again, quoted for a reason, and we'll get to it, he should get these people on his flagship shows, get these people where they can be shown off and make him money. But the reason I said the problem in the past is because with what appears to be the very beginnings of a big turnaround, and we're going to get into a little bit of wrestling news here. For those of you who are not aware, although if you watch wrestling, I don't know how you could not be. Vince McMahon has decided that he's going to hire two executive creative producers for Raw and SmackDown respectively. Those two people being Paul Heyman on Raw and Eric Bischoff over on SmackDown. Now, to the credit of the man Eric Bischoff, he's for those of you who don't know, he was perhaps one of the biggest and most influential creative voices when it came to the Monday Night Wars and the NWO storyline that so many people adored. His more recent work in TNA, where he was a creative producer, kind of didn't work all that well, but then he was also touted for having a great amount of skill handling sci-fi, the network sci-fi. So that's where he's getting his current acumen and his current worth from. So, and Eric Bischoff, again, credit to the man himself, has stated that he's probably going to wait until after Extreme Rules, which is coming up here in a couple weeks, to really start putting his own thumbprint on it, because what he wants to do is he wants to get to know what's currently going on, how the fans are reacting to certain things, really give out some good storylines that people will like, and that really plays into what I'm looking at here with the NXT call-ups. And the problem of the past was, as I said, that Vince didn't know the product, but with Paul Heyman, I very much feel like he'll get it. Like, I don't know how much media Paul Heyman and the rest of the creative team take in, but if the past is any indicator, Paul Heyman can pretty much do whatever he wants in a very large sense. Because look at his run, his current run as the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman goes out and says whatever the fuck Paul Heyman wants to say. I one of my most favorite moments that completely encapsulates how Paul Heyman works. They were in, I forget where they were. It was a episode of Raw, and Paul Heyman's out there pontificating and really drawing in the audience and talking about how Brock Lesnar's going to win. And some guy proposed to his girlfriend in the audience. Somebody proposed to their significant other in the audience. And the people around them that had seen it were you know, they got distracted because hey man, this guy just proposed to his girl at a wrestling event. Oh my god, that's insane. During Paul Heyman's promo. And they started chanting when she said yes, and this is the reason why I say she, is they started chanting she said yes. That took Paul Heyman's attention. Because it wasn't a massive, like, the whole crowd chanting. This was maybe, like, 6 or 7 rows, so it was loud enough that it got on camera. And Paul Heyman just started ripping into the guy. Like, turned around and started, first started off, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, but you damn sure don't interrupt me, because I'm like Brock Lesnar in that I am the beast of promos, and you don't interrupt the beast, bitch. And it was, like I said, to be ribbed by Paul Heyman, to understand that in the context of kayfabe, Paul Heyman was doing a really good job with a thing that was just life, you know? And that he was aware of it, that he knew, like, his brain just went, oh, there's a chance. Let me just... Eat. Got it. It was perfect. So, I have a lot of hope for the guys on Raw coming from NXT, because I feel like Paul Heyman will at least go back to 1 or 2 NXT takeovers, get in the story, get in the feel of that character, and talk to these guys and give them advice, and talk to the young to the older talent and go, okay, this is the guy that you're working with, and this is his deal. In case you didn't know, I imagine you did, but in case you didn't, this is what you got, and this is what I want to see. Can you guys work together, get some banter going, go, this is the far you got, this is the line you guys don't want to cross, but you guys knew that, so go for it. I want to see what you got. That's what I'm hoping we see out of Paul Heyman. Now, on the SmackDown side of the coin with the NXT call-ups, they have touted that the SmackDown is, like, Raw is going to be the story while SmackDown is going to be the action. I don't know if I buy that, but in the case that we assume that that's how it's going to go, and I'm not putting a lot of money on that, but assuming that that's the line they want to go with and they actually stick to it, I think we're going to see a lot more of the athletic guys, the guys that maybe aren't so great at promos and things like I can't say how good Shinsuke Nakamura is on the mic, but I know for a damn certainty that he's an amazing in-ring worker. You want to talk about his work ethic? Go watch NXT TakeOver Dallas. His first match against Sami Zayn's last match in NXT. The phrase "fight forever" was chanted for the first time that I'd ever heard in that match. and it completely encapsulated how you should feel about Shinsuke Nakamura. That he's the king of strong style. He's weird and amazing and great in between the ropes. He looks lanky as hell, and he shouldn't be able to do the things that he does, but he does. So I feel like guys like Shinsuke, like Aleister Black, like Johnny Gargano, like Tommaso Ciampa, are going to be divided on, these guys are good in the ring, but they're better on the mic, and these guys are better in the ring, good on the mic. So I would like to see it such that, or actually flip it, where the guys that are good in the ring are on the mic to give themselves a chance to build that skill even further. And working with Paul Heyman personally, if I could, I absolutely would. Go, fuck, sign me up for a podcasting class with Paul Heyman, where he teaches you how to cut promos, works with your natural charisma, and helps you build the skills that you're gonna need to jump in and just verbally beat down people on the mic if that's what you want to do, or just accentuate the talents you already have. I think my biggest problem, if I had to point out my own flaws here, is that I do say and I kind of get caught on certain words on the camera. So, but hey, nobody's perfect. So, speaking of things that aren't perfect, I want to talk about the current NXT call-ups and what can be done to help them. You've got Aleister Black, who hasn't been seen in a ring in forever. Tommaso Ciampa is supposed to be, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I know he had a neck injury, and I know he's rehabbing, and God willing he gets well soon, because that's scary. Neck injuries, any injury, is not something you want to fool with. So to see Tommaso Ciampa kind of hurt in that way, kind of, sorry, I just noticed how low I am in the frame here. To see kind of that whole, any injury is a bad injury, even if it's minor, because you're taking a passion away from these guys, and that's kind of something you want to lament. But then again, you also have the opportunity to build. And pointing again to the current pipe bomb that was put out, the emancipation of Jon Moxley by the Talk Is Jericho podcast, that one I think kind of showed, because Jon went on the air and said, I had all these ideas. I sat at home for months cutting promos, thinking about how I wanted to come back, thinking how I wanted to act when I did come back, and none of it went anywhere. Like, I knew it wouldn't, because Vince won't like these things. So it is kind of a little disheartening to see that these guys who are artists want to go out and want to do these things, but never get the chance to. And then they go out and they do something amazing where they're not so constrained, and everybody's like, well, where the hell was this? He must have been holding back, or he must have been held back. And Jon, this podcast, before this podcast, nobody knew, or like it wasn't a big talk about, like nobody really brought it up. Again, I knew they were going to be renovating, but they brought it up, and now you know. So I hate that that's how that is. But the end of it should be that talking with the creative writers, like wrestlers should get to talk to the entire creative team. Just kind of go in to like get one or two guys, sit them down. Okay, we want your feud to be this match, and this match. How are you gonna? What would you like to build it on? What do you feel your characters would argue about, would fight about, would really get a lot of mileage out of? Because currently, you can't go 5 steps without hearing a very bad scripted promo. You know, like, and one of the more recent examples of this was when The Miz said Undertaker, as in 2 words. Stop the cue cards. Do it right. And the fact is if you get these guys from NXT and you work them with, you get the guys from the creative on NXT to talk to the creative on the main roster. Be like, listen, okay, guys, just emails. It doesn't even have to be face to face. Just emails. Just, okay, we know you guys want, say, Velveteen Dream. This is his character. This is what we've been doing with him. These are the highlights. Sunk. And then they can go, okay. We see that he's rather weird, but he's eccentric, and it's beautiful, and people like it, and he's even a couple times acknowledged his own past as that didn't happen, kind of like to answer the smarts like me who say, hey, isn't it that guy from this time? And he's like, no, that's not me. That wasn't me. The Dream doesn't remember this. And using those using those storylines and those character defining moments as building blocks to make an even better superstar. Fucking perfect. The second thing is I actually think that that NXT should be where certain main roster titles should be put. You know, let them have the tag team. Let them have the women's championship. Fine. Those 2 titles, still NXT, doesn't matter. But since you don't really use the US title, since you don't really use the Intercontinental title all that much, it should be that maybe like one or the other is the main title that people go after. Instead of having the North American Championship and the NXT, well, no, fuck it. Yeah, leave it alone. Now that I'm saying it out loud, because I was thinking, I was like, well, this could be a very good kind of inroad to getting people from not only from the NXT side of the brand, but the main roster side of the brand, to kind of interact with these guys and pull them into that certain brand, or pull them up to the main roster and have them continuing a storyline from NXT to the main roster. And then you have a bridge that gives performers an inroad, because then when they can show like highlights from the NXT on Raw or SmackDown when this person shows up to interrupt them. You know, it's like, well, Ricochet, the U.S. champion, is facing AJ Styles, and this is going to be for the United States Championship. And wait a second, why is this person here? You know? It would be great. It would be perfect. But then they don't do that. They don't really, I mean, the vignettes are good, but I kind of want to see something better. I kind of want to see that NXT is recognized as its own brand, not an inferior brand, because to me it's superior as fuck. and let them go out there and put on bangers that people will want to watch, and that people will want to watch, and make them known. That's the best way I guess I could put it. So I want to thank you all for watching. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. If you're watching me on Twitch, go on ahead and give me a follow. If you're watching me on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, share, all those wonderful things. You can all follow me on Twitter at RobsRandomRoms, and I will see you all next time.